My best friend invited me and my boyfriend to an amusement park. While we were drinking water, my boyfriend, Ethan, naturally opened the bottle for Chloe first. Chloe smirked playfully. Failing boyfriend 101, are we? How could you not open your girlfriend's first? Ethan teased her back. Rainey's strong enough to twist your head off. She doesn't need my help. Shut up. I'll twist yours off first. The two of them started messing around. When we were eating, my best friend accidentally spilled ice cream right onto her chest. Without even thinking, my boyfriend leaned down and licked it off her chest. Chloe was wearing a deep V-neck tank top, and her cleavage was practically spilling out. After carefully licking it clean, Ethan grabbed a tissue to wipe off the spit from her skin. So clumsy. Be careful next time. Chloe turned to me and complained. Hey Rainey, control your man. He acts like he owns the place. Is he my boyfriend or my dad? I had been dating Ethan for 7 years, and scenes like this had played out countless times. But now, I didn't want to play along anymore. After we paid for dinner, Chloe walked out of the restroom. Like a million times before, Ethan was already holding her purse. It was getting dark. Ethan turned to me. Rainey, take the subway home. I'll drive Chloe. She lives far away. Before I could even say a word, Chloe had already opened the passenger door and hopped in. No need to ask. Rainey worries about me more than you do. Of course I worried about her. She had been my best friend for 10 years. Back in college when we were broke, we even shared a single piece of expired bread. But now, the person who cared about her most wasn't me. It was Ethan. Bye Rainey. We're off. Chloe's cheerful voice faded as the car kicked up a cloud of dust. I got home. Ethan FaceTimed me. Rainey, the streets over here are flooded. The car might stall, so I'm not coming back tonight. I let out a self-deprecating laugh. So, are you sleeping in the car? Chloe snatched the phone from Ethan's hand. Her face flushed red as if she had just showered. He's staying at my place. Don't worry, Rainey, he's totally not my type. Only then did I notice she was wearing Ethan's button-up shirt. I hung up. I called the moving company to schedule a time. In the corner of the bathroom, the laundry basket was giving off a faint, sour smell. I walked over with a frown. It was the shirt Ethan wore 2 nights ago, stained with vomit from when he drank for Chloe at a party. Why are you guys picking on a young girl? Just because she doesn't have a boyfriend? I'll drink for her. When our college internship ended, Ethan had changed the only full-time return offer on our team from my name to Chloe's. He said the exact same thing back then. She didn't have a boyfriend. So because I had one, I was supposed to let her have everything. I threw the dirty shirt straight into the trash. Dirty clothes get thrown away. And dirty people? They get thrown away too. The next morning, Ethan FaceTimed me again. Rainey, bring me a change of clothes on your way to work. Chloe popped her head into the screen, giggling. Reporting in, Rainey. Nothing happened last night. But your man snores so loud, like a literal pig. I was in the next room and couldn't sleep all night. How do you tolerate him? You must love him so much, haha. Shut up. Who was the one whimpering like a puppy because of the thunderstorm? Ethan muttered. I simply replied. Ethan is not my husband. The R&D department needed to send 2 people to Africa for a project. Nobody wanted to go. After the meeting, I went straight to the general manager's office. She was shocked. Are you sure? You guys are planning a wedding. Long distance isn't great for a relationship. I looked at the sunlight outside the window. The shadow over my heart cleared up a bit. We're not getting married anymore. A career is way more reliable than a man. When I walked out of her office, the receptionist gave me a sly look and handed me a single rose. Your boyfriend is so romantic. I threw it into the trash can. A small card fell out. The familiar logo on it made me realize exactly where the rose came from. It was a freebie from the luxury birthday gift he bought for Chloe. Right on cue, a text from Ethan popped up on my phone. Happy birthday. Babe, I'll pick you up tonight. Chloe keeps complaining that it won't feel like a birthday without you. My birthday was only 1 day apart from Chloe's. Every year, Ethan and I would plan a huge birthday surprise for her. But after her party, he would always complain. It's so exhausting, Rainey. Doing this twice would kill me. Why don't you just celebrate on the same day as Chloe? But every joint birthday after that, Chloe was always the star of the show. I didn't reply to Ethan. I just focused on prepping for my move overseas. During a quick break, I scrolled past Chloe's Instagram post. So lucky to have people who remember me every single year. Red heart. It was a carousel of 5 photos. Each one showed a birthday gift Ethan had given her over the years. A Miu Miu dress, Dior sunglasses, a Chanel handbag. And this year's gift, a limited edition Cartier ring. That ring must have cost Ethan 3 months of his salary. How hilarious. In our 7 years together, Ethan had given me plenty of gifts too. Hand-woven flower crowns, knitted scarves, a $3 necklace, a $4 canvas bag. He always said, the price tag doesn't matter, it's the thought that counts. Besides, to keep up appearances for you, I have to buy Chloe the best and most expensive things. Don't you care about Chloe the most? Thinking about it now, it was just ridiculous. I couldn't help but laugh out loud. The receptionist walked past and smiled. Getting married soon, huh? Look how happy you are. I took a sip of my coffee. I am happy, but I'd be happy even without getting married. When work ended that evening, Ethan was waiting for me outside the office. Before I could say anything, he impatiently pulled me into the car. Babe, what took you so long? We're going to be late. Before I even opened the passenger door, I saw Chloe sitting in the front seat, her feet propped up on the dashboard, scrolling through her phone. The wifey seat sticker on the dashboard had been half peeled off by her. Chloe grumbled in explanation. Don't look at me. I definitely don't want to be Ethan's wife. Honestly, I'd rather be his dad. Ethan shot back immediately. Watch your mouth. Who are you calling son? Respect your elders, you should be calling me big brother. He turned to me, completely unfazed. It's fine, babe. I can stick another one in the back seat. I'll buy you a whole pack. Chloe made a move to get up. Rainey, are you mad? Fine, I'll go to the back. Rainey is my favorite anyway. Ethan pressed her leg down. Forget it. Since we're already here, you can just be our little third wheel. My phone buzzed. It was the movers letting me know everything was packed and moved. I guess it was time to tell Ethan. Tonight, we were going to the place where we had our very first date. Good. Let's end it where it all started. Looking at all the couples around us, Ethan grabbed my hand and sighed. On our first date, I was too shy to even touch your hand. And now we're about to get married. Chloe chimed in loudly. You better thank me, your honorary mother-in-law. Without my master plans, Rainey would have never said yes so fast. Yeah. I'll put you at the head table at the wedding. Happy now. Then buy me boba. The usual? Black tea with salted cream, 30% sugar, no ice? Don't you get sick of it? Rainey, what do you want? Chloe and I will go grab it. Just then, a couple of content creators with cameras walked up to us. Hey guys. We're filming a couples Q&A for National Couples Day. How long have you two been dating? Ethan looked a bit awkward and pulled me from behind him. Oh, you have the wrong person. Rainey is my girlfriend. But Chloe suddenly grabbed Ethan's hand, holding it tight, her smile brilliant. Babe, I'm sorry. Don't try to make me jealous with someone else. Then, she whispered in a voice only the three of us could hear. It's just a TikTok video. I'm the birthday girl today. Let me have some fun. Rainey won't mind. In front of the camera, their fingers were tightly locked. Chloe talked smoothly about their relationship details. Ethan looked at her with a gentle, adoring gaze. They looked so perfect together. The crowd of onlookers pushed me aside. I just smiled, pulled out my phone, and took a picture of their intertwined hands. Ethan, you found me in the crowd, and now you're returning me to it. Thank God I don't love you anymore. After the interview, Chloe clung to my arm, apologizing. Rainey, I just thought it was fun. Please don't be mad at me. Ethan chimed in. Yeah, you know how she is. She's just a wild card. Don't take it personally, Rainey. I shook my head. I'm not mad. In fact, I'm here to break up with you. A firework exploded in the sky, and Ethan instantly covered Chloe's ears. He turned his head and yelled over the noise. What did you say, Rainey? Before I could repeat myself, Chloe was already dragging him toward the drop tower. I have a massive fear of heights. Every time Ethan wanted to go, I refused. But this time, I suddenly wanted to push myself. Not for anything else. Just to find a bit of courage. The courage to completely walk away from these toxic relationships. There were only 2 seats left. Ethan smiled and placed Chloe's hand in mine. You two are the closest. Go ahead. I closed my eyes. The next second, Chloe's blood-curdling scream of help shattered the night. The operator slammed the emergency stop. Everyone saw it then. Her safety harness wasn't buckled. Chloe was sobbing, shaking violently in her seat. Ethan ran over, his face pale. He scooped Chloe up into his arms, bridal style, and glared at me. Rainey, how can you be so cruel? You were sitting right next to her. How could you not check her harness? Were you trying to kill her? Chloe seemed to snap out of it, pushing Ethan's chest weakly. Don't blame her. You know hurting her hurts me too. Ethan, just go. The hushed whispers of the crowd snapped me back to reality. Ethan sighed. Fine, whatever you say. Rainey, go home first. Chloe's in bad shape. I need to stay and watch over her. I took a deep breath. I went home and pulled out the relationship journal Ethan used to write for me. I couldn't remember the last time he wrote in it. But tonight, I wrote the final entry. October 14th. We are officially over. Chloe's birthday. The day I cut her off. For the next week, I was fully occupied with my relocation paperwork. Ethan didn't contact me once. Until one evening he finally called. Rainey, where's that heirloom cross necklace my grandmother gave you? I've searched the whole apartment, and I can't find it anywhere. I asked him, are you at the apartment? Yeah. Chloe's still having nightmares. I remembered that cross is blessed and brings peace. I want to give it to her to help her sleep. I was stunned. His mind was entirely consumed by finding a cure for Chloe's nightmares. He didn't even notice that all my belongings were gone. That necklace was given to me the first time I met Ethan's grandmother. She said it was reserved for her future granddaughter-in-law. I was going to return it, but I hadn't had the chance. Ethan's voice kept droning on. Chloe says she's scared, so I need to rush back to her place. Leave work early and go find the necklace. While you're at it, do the laundry. The clothes in the basket are starting to smell. Oh, and don't forget to grab those donuts Chloe likes from downtown. She's too stressed to eat anything else. I summoned the very last bit of my patience. Ethan, we broke up. There was a long pause on the other end. Is this because I carried her at the amusement park? Rainey, she almost died. Can you stop making a mountain out of a molehill? She didn't even blame you for not checking her harness. Seeing that I remained silent, Ethan added. All right, Rainey, stop overthinking. Chloe and I love you the most. Whether they loved me or not, I didn't care. But I knew one thing. Ethan, you loved her. I hung up and blocked him everywhere. The rain outside the terminal of JFK International Airport was heavy, washing over the asphalt in long, gray sheets. I sat in the departure lounge, holding a paper cup of ginger tea. My backpack was heavy on my shoulders, filled with my passport, my employment transfer forms, and the single small leather folder that held the remnants of my 7 years with Ethan. But before my flight to Nairobi boarded, there was one last thing I had to do. I pulled the velvet box containing his grandmother's heirloom cross necklace from my pocket. It was heavy, polished, and cold to the touch. I had taken a cab to her quiet, brick cottage on the outskirts of the city just 2 hours ago. Grandma, I had said, laying the box gently on her small lace-covered coffee table. I'm returning this to you. I'm leaving the country tonight. Grandma Vance's face had fallen, her wrinkled hands shaking as she looked at the box, then up at my face. She didn't ask about Ethan. She didn't make excuses about his stress or ask me to be patient. Over the last 3 years she had watched her grandson systematically distance himself from me to cater to Chloe's every whim. He's a fool, Rainey, she had whispered, a tear slipping down her wrinkled cheek. I gave you this cross because I thought your gentleness would teach him how to be a real man. But he's spent 7 years letting that girl drag him around, and he's thrown away the only precious thing he ever had. She had pushed the box back into my hand. Keep it, child, she said, her voice carrying a quiet maternal authority. I didn't give this to Mrs. Vance. I gave it to you. It's a blessing for your future, wherever you fly. My eyes had stung, but I didn't let the tears fall. I squeezed her hand, tucked the velvet box back into my bag, and walked out into the rain. And now, as the flight attendant announced boarding for my flight to Nairobi, I turned off my phone, slid it into my backpack, and walked through the gate. I was finally completely free. At 10 p.m., Ethan unlocked the door of our penthouse. He was carrying a box of gourmet donuts from downtown, his shoulder damp from the rain. He had spent the last 3 hours comforting Chloe, who had claimed she saw a shadow outside her window during the storm. Rainey, he called out, kicking off his wet shoes by the entryway. I'm home. Did you find the necklace? Chloe is still waiting for it. There was no answer. Ethan frowned, tossing his keys onto the console table. Rainey, are you still in the study? Seriously, how long are you going to keep up this silent treatment? He walked into the living room, intending to toss his damp coat onto the sofa. But as he looked around, a strange, cold sensation began to settle in his stomach. The living room looked larger. The small, hand-woven tapestry I had bought from a local market was gone from the wall. The knitted blanket I used to wrap myself in while reading was missing from the armchair. The small bookshelf in the corner was half empty. Ethan's heart gave a sudden, violent lurch. He ran toward our master bedroom, throwing the door open. The wardrobe doors were wide open. My side of the closet was completely empty. Not a single coat, dress, or hanger remained. The vanity was bare save for a thin layer of dust where my skincare bottles used to stand. And on the shoe cabinet by the door, sitting right next to the house keys, was his silver engagement ring. No, Ethan whispered, his breath shallow. She's just trying to scare me. She's hiding at her parents' house. He pulled out his phone, his fingers flying across the screen as he dialed my number. The number you have dialed is currently switched off or out of coverage. He tried to message me on WeChat, on Instagram, on WhatsApp. Every single chat window returned a glaring, red exclamation point. Your message was sent, but the recipient blocked you. He dialed my office line. It took 3 rings before the receptionist, the one who had handed me the rose a week ago, picked up. Forensic R&D department, how can I help you? Is Rainey there? Ethan stammered, his voice shaking with a sudden rising panic. Tell her Ethan is on the phone. Tell her to pick up. Mr. Vance? The receptionist's voice turned instantly cold and professional. Miss Rainey resigned 3 days ago. She boarded a flight to Nairobi, Kenya, at 8 p.m. tonight for the company's international development project. She won't be returning to the country for at least 3 years. The phone slipped from Ethan's fingers, crashing loudly onto the hardwood floor. He stood alone in the empty, silent bedroom, the box of gourmet donuts sitting, forgotten on the bed. The reality was finally beginning to shatter through the thick, arrogant walls of his denial. 1 month passed. Nairobi in the spring was a beautiful, sun-drenched landscape of green acacia, trees and clear, blue skies. I lived in a quiet, gated apartment complex near the company's research center. My days were consumed by the launch of our new agricultural lab. I spent my mornings analyzing soil samples and my afternoons coordinating with international scientists. My skin had turned a healthy, golden tan, and the permanent crease of worry that used to sit between my brows had vanished completely. I rarely checked my old social media, but one evening, while sipping a cup of local Kenyan coffee, I opened Instagram. I didn't need to search for Chloe's profile. Her post had been shared by several of our mutual college friends. It was a photo of her sitting in our old penthouse, surrounded by a mountain of moving boxes. She was wearing a loose, wrinkled t-shirt, her hair messy, her face looking pale and exhausted. The caption read, "Moving is so hard. Why is everything in this house so dirty? I miss my favorite housekeeper." Loudly crying face. I let out a soft, dry laugh. Her favorite housekeeper. She had moved into the penthouse within a week of my departure, expecting to step into the life of a billionaire's wife. But she didn't realize that the life she wanted required an endless amount of administrative maintenance. I was the one who managed the utility bills, the property taxes, the grocery deliveries, and the weekly cleaning schedule. Without me, the penthouse had quickly turned into a chaotic mess. Worse, Ethan's financial situation was in ruins. To buy her that limited edition Cartier ring, he had maxed out 3 of his personal credit cards. Now, with his salary frozen due to the company's poor quarterly performance, he was struggling to pay the mortgage on the penthouse. And the taboo thrill of their relationship had completely evaporated. Without me to act as the scandalized girlfriend, their playful, suggestive cooperation lost its flavor. There was no one to make jealous, no one to show off to. They were just 2 people trapped in a messy, financially strained apartment, realizing they didn't actually like each other very much when the lights were bright. Suddenly, a notification popped up at the top of my screen. It was a link to a TikTok video. The video had garnered over 5 million views, but the comment section was a war zone. A high school classmate of ours had recognized the 3 of us in the video and had posted a detailed multi-page thread exposing our history. Wait, isn't the girl in the background Rainey, his actual fiancée of 7 years? Why is he holding the best friend's hand? Oh my god, look at her Instagram. She's been posting photos of the expensive gifts he bought her for years while his actual girlfriend got $4 canvas bags. This is so toxic. She literally called herself his honorary mother-in-law while acting like his wife. The internet did its job with terrifying efficiency. Within 48 hours, Chloe's social media accounts were flooded with thousands of angry, mocking comments. The brand sponsors who had recently approached her for collaborations immediately withdrew their offers, citing moral liabilities. Even our company's HR department had been alerted. Ethan's professional reputation was severely damaged. The board of directors, sensitive to any public scandal that might affect their upcoming merger, had quietly initiated an internal audit into how Chloe had received the full-time return offer over me during our college internship. The truth, that Ethan had used his executive position to manipulate the selection process to please his best friend, was exposed. By the end of the week, both Ethan and Chloe had been suspended from their duties pending a formal disciplinary hearing. I closed the app, set my phone on the table, and took a slow sip of my coffee. The bullet comments of their lives had finally caught up to them. And I didn't have to lift a single finger to make it happen. 2 weeks later, the rain in Nairobi was heavy, washing over the dusty streets of the city center. I was sitting in a cozy, glass-walled cafe near the research center reviewing the final project reports when the bell above the door chimed. A man walked in, his clothes wrinkled, his hair disheveled, looking completely out of place among the professional international tourists. It was Ethan. He looked 10 years older than the last time I had seen him. He had lost significant weight, his face was pale, and his eyes were bloodshot, carrying a frantic, desperate longing. He scanned the cafe until his gaze landed on me. "Rainey," he whispered, his voice cracking as he rushed toward my table. I didn't stand up. I didn't scream. I simply looked at him with an absolute, chilling indifference that made him freeze 3 feet away from my chair. "Ethan," I said, my voice smooth and calm. "What are you doing here?" I came to find you," he stammered, falling into the chair opposite me. Reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, crumpled paper box from a local bakery. I brought you those donuts. The ones you liked from downtown. I had them flown in from the capital. I don't like donuts, Ethan, I said quietly, pushing the box aside without opening it. Chloe was the one who liked them. You just never plugged in the effort to remember. Ethan's face turned a sickly, ash-gray color. Rainey, please. I was wrong. I was so stupid. Chloe, she's gone. She packed her bags and left the penthouse. After the company suspended us. She's suing me for the value of the Cartier ring, claiming it was a personal gift. He reached out, his hands shaking as he tried to grab my fingers across the table. I've realized everything, Rainey. She was a snake. She was using me to get your position, your gifts, your life. I've already turned over all the records of her fraud to HR. I've blocked her everywhere. Just, please come back to me. We can get married next month. My grandmother. She's waiting for us. Your grandmother knows we broke up, Ethan, I said, pulling my hands back and placing them in my lap. I returned the silver cross to her before I boarded my flight. Ethan froze. You returned it? Yes, I said. And she told me to fly free. At that moment, Ethan's phone began to vibrate violently on the table. The screen lit up with Chloe's name. Even though he claimed to have blocked her, she was clearly using a burner number to reach him. He answered it in a panic, trying to shut her up. Chloe, I told you to stop calling me. Ethan, you bastard. Chloe's voice screamed through the speaker, so loud that several patrons in the cafe turned to look. The police just showed up at my apartment. They're saying you filed embezzlement charges against me for the corporate credit card. You can't do this to me. I'm the birthday girl. You promised you'd always protect me. Ethan slammed the phone down, his face pale with humiliation as he looked at me. I looked at him, then at the screaming phone, and let out a soft, genuine laugh. You two really are a perfect match, Ethan, I said, standing up and throwing my trench coat over my shoulders. You deserve each other. Rainey, please, he sobbed, reaching out to grab the hem of my coat. Don't leave me in the dark. I have nothing left. You have Chloe, I said, my voice carrying an unbreakable, final resolve. And she has you. Enjoy your marriage. The rain had stopped, leaving the sky over Nairobi a deep, beautiful blue. I stood on the terrace of the research center, looking out at the vast, open savanna in the distance. The wind was warm, carrying the scent of fresh earth and wild grass. My phone vibrated with a message from Grandma Vance. I heard he went to Africa, Rainey. I hope you didn't let him touch your wings. I smiled, my fingers flying across the keyboard as I typed my reply. My wings are perfectly fine, Grandma. And the sky is beautiful. I locked my phone, slid it into my pocket, and walked back into the lab, my steps light, confident, and completely free. The $3 necklaces and the $4 canvas bags of my past had been thrown into the trash, along with the boy who gave them to me. And out on the endless horizon, my true life was finally, beautifully beginning.